Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the annual meeting of the Clay Township Board and the Board of Finance, Tuesday, January 27th, actually 28th. Our first order is to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business is the approval of minutes from the December 10th, 2013 regular board meeting. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We also need approval of minutes from the January 7th, 2014 organizational board meeting. Is there a motion?
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Are there any people from the audience who would like to speak publicly tonight? Hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on to action items. First action item, we need to organize as a Board of Finance pursuant to Indiana Code 5-13-7-6 to elect a president and secretary of the Board of Finance. Do I have a motion for the election of a president?
I move that Matt Snyder be the president of the Board of Finance this year.
And thank you, Mary. And I second that motion. All those in favor, any discussion, pardon me. All those in favor of having Matt Snyder be the president of the Board of Finance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 3-0. Congratulations, Matt.
May we have a motion to name a secretary for the Board of Finance?
I so move to have Mary Eckerd be our secretary.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Congratulations, Mary.
Thank you.
Mary and Matt, well done.
I do have a question on this. Are the notes for the Board of Finance going to be taken on this sheet, or is there a separate sheet for that?
Memorandum. Oh, you mean that? You can just put it on
Just
there.
put it on
I'm
there.
sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
You have the memorandum, right?
Yes, I
Okay,
do. I
okay,
want to
yeah.
be sure
That's fine.
they're on the same sheet.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
You can, if you want more room, you want to turn over, that's fine too.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Now wait.
I
Yes,
think it's back to me, isn't it?
he closes the Board of
Oh.
Finance.
No discussion about the board? No business in front of the board? Is that accurate?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
There's no business in front of the Board of Finance?
No, except for the sheet. I want to kind of go over this, okay, with you guys.
But isn't that under the regular business of the board?
No, it's an action item. You guys will have to approve this,
The investment
the
policy.
investment policy.
Yes, we
Through
talked
the
about
Board
that
of
earlier.
Finance?
The Board of Finance. does.
Okay, that was the
Yeah,
question.
so Matt, you being the president will.
Go on, Doug. Tell us
Okay,
about it.
okay. Well, normally, we have to do this at the end of every year, okay? And basically, it just tells you the money we have in our accounts and stuff. We have two accounts with Fifth Third Bank. The first one is our public funds account, the Now account, which is what we write all of our checks out of, okay? Right now, at the end of the year, we had $12,066.80 in there, okay? So, and then the other account we have with Fifth Third is the liquidity management account, where we are trying to help gain some interest off of our funds in a more efficient way because of our recession a few years back. And so you'll see all of our money basically in there. And that's where you see the $8,689,002.59. Now, the way it works is whenever we get low in our Now account, which is where we write our checks from, then we take money from that liquidity management account and we will transfer it. The reason we do that is is FDIC. That's right. Okay. They charge if you have anything, and it depends on how much you have in your regular account. They charge, there's more of a fee. So that's the reason it's been moved to this liquidity management account, to help save us money and hopefully make some money throughout the year. So anyway, that's why we do what we do. I mean, why we do that.
Could I have the total again, please?
The
8
total
million.
for both of them is 8
No,
million.
no. Oh, 8, it's for both of them?
Well,
You
the
said
now
that-
account is
Right.
$12,066.80. The liquidity management account is 8 million.
Never mind, it's right here on the sheet.
Okay.
I didn't know we had a
And
sheet.
then the total. Okay.
I'm going home.
So that's where our money is, in those two accounts. Okay, so we will, like I say, we might, we get low in this now account, then the bank will call us and say, hey, you need to transfer some money. We basically transfer up to $250,000. And like our co-op money will go into the liquidity management account, but we have to call or we have to email them saying, hey, the money's coming in this month, you need to put it in our liquidity management account. So we have a trail of that way, so we know what's going in there. Okay, and the only time we ever take it out is basically when we wire our debt service for our 2 fire stations and the Central Park, and when we pay Carmel, it's a transfer because they have Fifth Third also. All right, or when Debbie needs to pay the bills, then if we get low, then we transfer it out of there. So that's why you see 2 of those accounts in front of you. They're both a Fifth Third. We meet with them from time to time.
Okay.
Any other questions? We just move to accept this. We don't approve this.
Right.
Do we have a motion to accept the investment policy?
I so move.
And I second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I am sorry.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the acceptance of the investment policy stands. Do we have a motion to adjourn the Board of Finance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
And we are adjourned.
Thank you, Matt. Our next action item is the approval of the 2013 annual report. Doug?
Okay, it's that time of year, and every time I do this, I try to think probably the easiest way to go through this. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of go through this really quick here. You guys have the debt service in front of you on the top, okay? So, no, it's not. I'm sorry. All this day I've been looking at is the debt. No, that's our total assets. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. Our land is $1,363,500. In buildings, we have $6,405,600 in there, and then machinery, equipment, and vehicles is $2,651,261. Okay, which totals the assets at $10,420,361. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, and then we go to the next page, and that's where we have 10 funds in the township coffers here. If you look at item, and look at the numbers over there, if you look at item 4 and item 8 are the 2 that we zeroed out the end of last year. So those will be going, we have already transferred the money into the rainy day fund. So if you add those 2 into what's already in the rainy day fund, you come up with $141,000. Okay. The other ones, so that leaves us 8 funds. We have the debt service, township assistance, the Farley Cemetery Fund, the firefighting fund, Park and Recreation Fund, which is what we pay the city, our portion of the general fund, the Parks General Fund, and then our big one, which is the Park Capital Non-Reverting Fund, which is where they do the capital improvements in the parks, and that's the COIT. Both 5 and 6 both are paid by the COIT that we receive, okay? And then 7, which is the rainy day fund. And I will tell you, I've got an interesting call today from Kurt and Carmel, and apparently they're doing a story on rainy day funds or something. They asked me about our rainy day fund. Okay, so no big deal. 141,000 isn't a lot of money in your rainy day fund. I really would like to build that. That's important because if anything, something to bring up to your attention. In the first month this year, January, we have spent out of our $30,000 in our ground maintenance, we have spent $19,000. Actually, $17,000 and $2,000 out of the museum. So we spent almost 2/3 of our money for ground maintenance throughout the year. We've already spent it on snow removal and ice removal and sidewalks and salt. So, we might have to hit that rain. I'm hoping that maybe the snow will just eventually go away and it start getting warm. But I want we might have to do an additional appropriation out of the rainy day fund later to get through the year if it does come up. Okay, we still have 10,000 in there.
We also still have 11 months in the year, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then that was rainy day fund, and then of course we have the Township General Fund. And like I say, you'll see the Township General. You'll see big money, $3 million, $2 million, because everything goes through the general fund. Okay, that's where our checking account is is basically through there. So you might see big, wow, what's all this money? Well, that's because that's where we transfer it into the general fund, and we will pay things. Okay. So that's all of our funds there. Any questions on that of the funds? Okay, these numbers go very quickly. And then the next page is the cash and investments combined, which is the $8 million. Okay. The next one is our custom funds, and on this custom funds, it's like I say, the number 4, item 4, and item 8 are no longer. We have those. That money's been transferred into our general fund or into our rainy day fund. There's our debt service. The next page is our debt service, our fire stations. For your information, the general obligation bond at the very top, the fire station bonds it says of 2000, those will be paid off in December of 2015. Actually, by the accountant standard, it's January of 2016. We pay it in 2015 December, but actually it doesn't go against us until 2016 January. So we have 4 more payments, and those 2 fire stations out west will be ours now. Okay? Or the communities, I should say.
What do you think, Angie? Is that about right?
Burns you up, doesn't it?
Yeah. When we go through this, that's an issue. That's a really issue. Because we pay for it in December, we pay it out in December before the end of the year, but by law, it's not due till January, so that's the only time, and it has to do with the bond. We're not even going to go there. Not even going to go there. Okay, but anyway, we have 4 more payments. In January 2016, it's going to be done. Okay? Now, and I'm not going to go through this next few pages, but the next several pages is on the disbursements, the total disbursements, okay, in each fund. And it's more of a detail. And then after the that's the detailed disbursement. Okay, and then after that is our receipts that we take in. If anybody has any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer. The disbursements total $13 million. Then our next one is all the grants that we give organizations money to, the amount, okay? So you have that in your packet there, which totals $250,000. Or is that 240? No, it's 250. Okay. And then the next one is a schedule of the officials. With this gateway we're doing, we have to list everybody's name as far as you as the board and myself and.
No, you're good. This is the grants.
And if you ever need our federal EIN number, it's there on page 2 of that document. And then I think basically close to the last thing, second to the last thing, is the TA7. The TA7 is basically township assistance and what we do throughout the year. It's kind of a collection of money that we spend and people that we help. So this can be very helpful if you have a question from the Clay Township side of it, of township assistance. You can always go to there. However, it can be very confusing. And if you read the paragraph in the back that I will sign here at the end, it will tell you, when completing the form, please keep in mind, reconciling, I can use that.
Reconcilement.
Yeah, there you go, thank you. Or cross-checking cannot necessarily be achieved, okay? So basically, you can't go in there and add this up and add that up, and it match what you have in your report. So don't even try it. It's the most confusing form, and likely it's computer generated. So whatever we enter into the computer figures it and then kicks it out to us. They have been trying to work on getting this straightened out for us ever since I've been here, and they haven't got it done yet. So it's close, but it just will not come out to the exact number ever, and that's why they put that paragraph in.
How close do we get? A few bucks?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a matter of, a few $100 or something like that. It's, but you've got to understand what is it asking. And when the computer is, depending on what you enter into the computer throughout the year, then you have to think, okay, if I figure this up, it's not going to be that way. But, it's software that does this, and it's across the state the same way. And they keep talking about they're going to improve this, going to improve this, and it's not improved yet, and I've been here 7 years. So you're better off to come up here. I can go back and probably go through our files and total it easier and get closer than what this does. And that's sad. That's really sad. And sometimes, I told you earlier, it worried me a little bit when the gateway came about from the state because I've had experience through the fire service when the state does something because it wasn't good. The gateway is really a good program, but I just wish they could get the TA7 to work like they do the gateway because I love the gateway. I mean, they've done a great job on that. So anyway, I just want to let you know, if you're bored on a Sunday afternoon and you want to read something, you can go to it.
All righty.
Okay.
Get that option.
Okay, then the next page is on transfers. And if you look at that on your left, it transfers out. If you look at the two funds, the general building, the Community Life and Learning Center, and the Spatial 2002 COET, you add those two together, and it will total what we put in the transfers in of the rainy day fund, okay? And then the township, you can see that's the checks and stuff that we write over the years is the total of that, and how much was transferred in receipts, and how much was dispersed. So that does total. All of that totals. And then after that is questions that they ask us, general questions. The next to last page, I thought that was the next last page. Okay, yeah, the last page, though, is it has you a bunch of questions on your pensions, and the only pension we have is the PERF. We do not have the teachers, we do not have the police, we do not have any of the 25 police, 37 firefighters, or 77 firefighters. That's usually for townships that do have paid fire departments, and they would check that, but we don't. So we don't have to worry about that. So all of us are on basically the PERF fund, okay? The very top of it.
Let's have a motion for approval in discussion. Is there a motion to approve the 2013 annual report?
I so move.
Second.
Second, thank you. Discussion, Mary, do you have any questions?
I don't.
How about you, Matt?
Nope.
That's a lot easier, the layout.
It
and
is.
Seems a
Mhm.
lot
To follow
easier to
through.
understand, Doug.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I was looking at it again today, and I'm thinking, I know it's boring, but it's easy to follow. It really is. And I give Debbie all the credit for that. I do the
Bravo.
100R, but she does the annual report. The 100R is very simple. It's one page.
Now we know how you have fun in the office.
And then we have Angie come up and make sure it's all correct. And
2 months in arrears.
yeah.
All righty, outstanding. All those in favor of approving the 2013 annual report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Debbie. Next action item, Resolution 2014-01-28-01 regarding public official bond for the trustee, deputy trustee, and the clerk. Doug?
This is something that we do every year. Basically, we've got to be bonded, and that's the trustee, the deputy trustee, and the clerk because of the handling of the money. And it's the max you can get is $300,000 of coverage, and it's figured on $30,000 for every million. And I think our ends was close to $9 million or whatever. So we purchased because it does go over $10 million at times throughout the year as we start collecting our property taxes and stuff. So anyway, the max you can get is the $300,000. That's what we get, and it's just an annual thing that we do, that we have to do.
Okay. Let's have a motion, and then we can discuss if necessary. May I have a motion for approval?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the public official bond for trustee, deputy trustee, and clerk, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
I have a question. Is the board covered by insurance or anything?
You're covered from our liability insurance.
Right.
But this is basically for people that handles the money.
Right.
And that's Debbie and I and then the deputy trustee, okay, when I'm not here. So that, it covers us, or actually it covers the community, what it covers, in case we decide to go to Rio and skip out on you guys or whatever.
Again.
Yeah. Of course,
Again, right.
it's been kind of tempting with this weather, you know?
Yeah.
But no, that's okay. I like where I live. But that's what the bonding is for. It's for us three. Okay?
Okay.
And you guys have to approve it every year. Okay.
Right.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
Moving on to information items. The first one is the Carmel Fire Department EMS Annual Collection Report.
And what I give this to you at the end of every year. Sometimes I'll give it throughout the year. One of the big things about it I thought was very nice to see. It's the first year that they went on. They've collected over $1 million. So you can see how valuable that becomes when you turn around and it buys apparatus and ambulances and equipment and even station house furnishings. Our category 4, and if you even go back to our budgets when we're doing that, and you look at the fire department's category 4 portion of the budget, it's zero. There's nothing. It's all taken out of this EMS fund, plus a few other items also. So it saves a lot of money over the years when you turn around and look. And I was really proud of them that last year was $933,000, and this year is $1.1 million, which is wonderful. So I wanted you to see that.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Any discussion? All righty, moving on. The ITA Legislative Conference, which is February 9th through the 11th at the Hilton, Indianapolis. Doug?
Okay, the 9th is the Sunday. We usually don't go down until the 10th and 11th. The 10th is usually when they tell us what's going on over at the legislature. And then on the 11th, the next day, you go into the State House and kind of mill and see what's going on and see if you can help support something that has to do with township government. So I just want to let you know, I know Matt's going and Debbie and I are going, and like I said, you guys are always welcome to go. Same goes with September when we have our regular ITA conference. And, but I just always wanted to mention that, make sure you guys are aware of that.
To the best of your knowledge, is there anything on the horizon relative to township government?
Not specifically, no. Not that I've seen. Deadline for second reading is today, and I think third reading is next week, so we'll have a little bit better idea of what's sort of actually moving through probably at the end of next week when third reading is all done.
Is this the short session this year or long?
Yes,
Yeah,
short
that's what I
session this
thought.
year, yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion?
No.
Financial questions from the board. Mary, do you have anything?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Nope.
Matt? All right, neither do I. Board comments. Mary?
Yes, I opened my park packet and found out that they're having a special meeting tonight in the multipurpose room at the Monon Center, and it's to solicit public input regarding the purchase and/or management of Brookshire. Do you know anything about this? What's going on?
The only thing well, basically it's just for public input.
Right, no, I
I
understand.
know that the vibes I'm getting is it's a thumbs down, okay? Because I think everything that comes back from the survey to people looking into things, it's not a good purchase, okay? And I will just tell you, that's what I've been told, and so I would be surprised if they have both parks jump on that. I would be very surprised.
But they couldn't do it without us anyway.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, exactly, it's gonna
It
come
has
to us.
to come to us anyway.
Right, that's right. But matter of fact, about everybody I talked to was not in favor of it. Because when you look at the survey, I mean, there's nothing good about it. Absolutely nothing good about it. I mean, it's all negative, and why would you jump on something like that? Why?
Well, the city did.
Yeah, right.
They did buy the pool from Leo.
Yeah.
They did buy that, which I thought that's probably a smart move. I mean, because why you need to have somebody own this, somebody owns that. I mean, you need to get rid of it as a whole. I still like it as a park and just close. I'm not a golfer, of course. So sorry, I don't mean to offend any golfers. I'm not a golfer, but it's
bought
just
the pool, because
Pardon me?
when, the city bought the pool, because when Mark Westermeyer sent an inspection crew over, when the parks were considering making it a part of the parks where they could have auxiliary swim lessons, the cost to make that a public facility was astronomical, and the word needed to be condemned even came out.
Oh, wow, well.
Just all the infrastructure failures and ADA compliance.
Was it in, I think, the council meeting last week? Last week wasn't, the council meeting.
Any idea what well, I'm sure they paid, wasn't it in the neighborhood of 35 to 50 to buy it, but to renovate it, bring it up to speed, to code, to your point, was going to be off the wall.
I think it would cost like $5 million. So, I mean, it's just. it's
Then
not how it
that
gets
tells
there.
me that they're going to do something else with it. because that's-
Somebody mentioned
Right.
something else to me, and this is a good point, too. Because I always think, you know what? Why don't they just make it into a nice park, Because when that was built several years ago, I mean, that was a nice golf course, and, other than Crooked Stick and Woodland, you didn't have another golf course around. But since, I mean, you can go any direction from here, and within a few miles, there's golf courses. Now, let's face it, Crooked Stick and Woodlawn, you have to be members and stuff, but still, you still have them, from Westfield to Washington Township, I mean, from Fishers to Zionsville. There's a number of golf courses now.
Something like 35 in a particular
Is that right?
proximity to Carmel, including Carmel.
I believe there's a breakdown in ideology, because I think people on the city side think a golf course is a park and should be subsidized. I think it's a luxury. I'm an avid golfer, but by no means should the whole population
See for your
subsidize
sport, right.
something that less than 1% less than 1% of 1% of the population participates in.
And when it was built, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was actually built in about 1970,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and it was a private
Yeah.
country club.
It was private.
And it was an absolutely beautiful country club, but things change and they evolve, and you have competition. And it's been a public course for a decade or 15
Yeah.
years or longer. But it's obviously in a floodplain. You're not going to sell it. You can't build on it, or at least most of it anyway. But they're to the point now where it would be so expensive to maintain as a golf course that the return is negligible.
Plus, if you got a flood, you're not going to be able to play half the holes.
To your point, my opinion is it would make a great park. But that
And
takes
they
money to maintain that
Say
as well.
they're looking for more land. It's right there in front of them.
That's
It's another
something to
topic.
stay tuned on. It's going to be a topic for a while, I'm sure. Do you have any other comments? And neither do I. Any announcements, Doug, other than the ITA?
Yes, our website's going to be changing. We're going to be updating it and everything. And just for the people at home, if you ever want to get in to learn about township government and what we do here, you just need to go to our website. We have a bunch of information. We have videos on there all about it. You got the pictures of the board members and about them. But just for the people at home, the website is claytwp.org, and that's CLAYTWP.org. So, so we're updating. We're constantly every couple of years want to update it, and it's so user friendly. What we've seen today, it's going to be so much user friendly to us. And I thought our old one was pretty friendly, but this is going to be even better as far as that goes. And so I want to let everybody know. You got my list of monthly meetings. And like I say, if something comes up, those are not in stone. And if you notice at the bottom in there, I put subject to change. So if you guys find out that, hey, this is not a good day, we need to change something, that's fine. We can do that. Our accountant and our attorneys both have that list, and that way they know ahead of time on when our meetings are. So if something comes up, please let me know. And I already told you about the snow removal, what we're going through. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or any other comments?
Yeah,
Then may I have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned, and thank you very much.